Morning, everybody. We are excited to welcome President Trump to the Capitol tonight, and we expect him to deliver a bold, optimistic message to the American people. Of course, anytime a new president speaks in this House chamber, it is an absolute tribute to our democracy. But tonight has particular importance. What I think the president recognizes, what we all recognize, is that this is a once-in-a-generation moment. It's a once-in-a-generation opportunity. We have the opportunity to finally tackle big problems that have held us back for so long. We can fix our healthcare system so that costs go down and choices go up. We can fix our broken tax code so that rates go down and growth goes up. We can fix our regulatory system so that it protects us instead of punishes us. And we can secure our border and rebuild our military for the 21st century. These are big, positive things that we can achieve for the hardworking Americans that we work for by working together. That is why we are very much looking forward to having the president here this evening. It is a chance for the country to hear directly from him about our agenda and about how we intend to improve people's lives. We have a lot of work ahead of us, and we are ready and willing to seize this moment.
Well, good morning, and as the speaker talked about, we are looking forward to hearing the president. We look forward to hearing an optimistic approach to the future. We have lots of challenges. We have already begun that work, though, as you watch on the floor this week. We'll continue with regulatory reform, getting common sense back into regulation, getting our business working again. But as we look to the future and we look to health care, we look to tax reform, but we also look to the future of the workforce. Because the students today, 65% of them, the jobs that they will work in have not even yet existed. So we got to look to innovation. We got to look to transformation of where we go. These are all things that we hope that the president will talk about, that we can bound together Republicans, Democrats in the House and the Senate to find that we build a better America, united for all. Happy Mardi Gras.
What do you say? Just happy Mardi Gras?
Happy Mardi Gras. Laissez-les bon temps roulés. Speaking a little French there. No, we really look forward to welcoming President Trump to address a joint session of Congress tonight and share his optimistic vision of the things that he's been doing to keep his promises to the American people. I think that's what's been most refreshing about these first few weeks in office is that he's really focused on doing the things that he ran on, focusing on creating jobs, which every meeting that we're in with President Trump, one of the first things he talks about is how can we get the economy moving again? How can we help create more jobs? How can we get government out of the way and end these regulations that are killing jobs? And just look what he's done in just a few short weeks. Green-lighted the Keystone Pipeline, creating thousands of American jobs and strengthening our national security. Just a few days ago, President Trump signed the stream buffer rule, and he actually had real coal miners along with members of Congress at the bill signing ceremony. In fact, he gave the pen to a coal miner, a bill that's going to save 70,000 jobs in the coal industry, keeping his promise to the American people. President Trump, when he ran for office, said that he was going to focus on making America safe again, on securing the American border. And sure enough, he has already taken direct steps to carry through on those promises. Just announced that he wants to increase defense spending so we have the opportunity to bolster our military so we can continue to keep America safe. And of course, when he ran for office, President Trump said that he was going to appoint justices to the Supreme Court who would actually uphold the Constitution. And he put a list out, a very narrow list of people who were thoroughly vetted and let the American people actually have a say in who the next Supreme Court justice is going to be to replace Antonin Scalia. And sure enough, in just his first few weeks in office, President Trump appointed one of the people off of that list, Neil Gorsuch, a justice who will truly fit the mold of Antonin Scalia, who you can't truly replace, but at least somebody who fits that mold and keeps to the promise that he kept, that he made to the American people. And then finally, in keeping with getting the economy back on track, to repeal and replace Obamacare, something that we've been working with President Trump closely on, and we're going to continue to work through the details till we finally get a bill put on his desk to follow through on that promise.
We've been hard at work on our 200-day plan, which means that there's no better time to hear from the president than tonight. He certainly has proven himself a man of action. The Trump way is ahead of schedule, under budget, It's about solving real problems for real people, focusing on the values that unite us as Americans: freedom, liberty, opportunity for all. You know, we've just had 8 years of an administration that thought that they knew best, that the top-down policies were the ones that they were promoting. And I was reminded last week, again, that the best ideas come from people on the ground all across this country. As I was in Walla Walla visiting and celebrating a new veterans home, in Spokane visiting a school for the hearing impaired, really an amazing school. In the community, bringing people together to talk about how we unify around shared goals. They remind us that it's most important that we listen. And then we go to work, and we are excited to be a part of a 200-day plan, a bold agenda that the Americans have demanded, whether it's tackling regulations, relieving people from the regulatory burden, delivering on our promises for families and individuals all across this country. We've passed a record number of congressional review acts, sending them to the president's desk. We're going to continue to work with the president and the Senate on the repeal and replace of Obamacare while protecting people with pre-existing conditions. And I'm confident that tonight's address will illustrate how dedicated the president is to delivering his promise. Moments like this don't happen very often, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Here to take questions.
Yeah, they're setting me up. It'll be fun. It's great to be here, and I'm excited to speak with you briefly about H.R. 1009, my first bill in Congress.
Paul Mitchell from Michigan.
I'm a freshman, as you may know, just started. We've been focused since the start of the 115th Congress first on regulatory relief, on efforts that we can make to get government off of the backs of business and family in this country. As a freshman, while new here, I was focused on that throughout my campaign, and I promised people we would get government to back off to allow business to grow and expand, to allow families to flourish. I'm proud to say that's a promise we've kept in their first 100 days. President Trump has shared our concerns, and I believe tonight he will tonight reinforce those efforts of regulatory relief and growth in our economy. The OIRA Insight Reform and Accountability Act codifies the Office of Information Regulatory Affairs, known as OIRA. Really cool acronym. Had to work on practicing that one. OIRA serves as a gatekeeper on regulatory reform. It is a safety valve to hold back the floodgate of unnecessary and duplicative, burdensome regulations. The bill will ensure OIRA's continued existence to do the important work of getting federal agencies to coordinate with one another, to look back and make sure their regulations don't conflict with previous regulations, so citizens and businesses aren't left to figure out the mayhem that's created by regulatory agencies. It also enhances transparency. They have to put out a report on what their regulatory activities are. This is a step forward to ensure our regulatory system works for everyone and allows families and businesses to flourish. I'm excited that it will hit the floor tomorrow and be my first bill as a freshman. Thanks very much.
Very good.
Questions? Charles Benson, do you have a question?
Thank you very much, Mr.
You bet.
Given what you're seeing at town hall meetings across the country and back in Wisconsin, are you feel that there is a need now that whatever plan you have for health care, that you must also include Democrats in that plan? And then also, can you make a guarantee that anyone who wants health care will be able to get an affordable?
Yeah, Democrats will get health insurance just like Republicans. I know what you're saying. I'm just having fun with you. The Democrats have made it very clear with us that they don't have any interest in repealing Obamacare. The Democrats want to go down with the sinking ship. Obamacare is a collapsing law. The law is not viable or sustainable. The insurers are pulling out left and right, and the system is collapsing. The deductibles are skyrocketing, the premiums are skyrocketing, and people are left with little or no choices in some instances. We have an obligation to step in front of this collapse and replace it with a better system, and that's what we are about doing. Our whole purpose is to improve access to affordable health care coverage, regardless of whether you have a pre-existing condition or not. That is what we ran on last year. That's what we're working on this year, and that is our objective, is to give people more choices, to give people access to more affordable health care choices, not less affordable health care choices or no choices at all, which is the case with Obamacare. Alan.
Conservatives say that your emerging plan on health care is a sinking ship. They say they have more than 22 votes against it. They hate the Medicaid expansion taking too long. They hate the tax credits. What changes are you willing to make to accommodate?
Well, look, I think you're going to have a lot of churning in any kind of legislative product like this. This is a plan that we are all working on together, the House, the Senate, and the White House. So there aren't rival plans here. We're all working on this together with the administration. And I would tell you, Alan, we started this process not a few months ago. We started this process over a year ago. House Republicans assembled a health care task force with all the committees of jurisdiction and any House Republican who wanted to participate in that. Out of that came a consensus plan that we all ran on together. It looked a lot like the Price Plan. The Price Plan was considered the conservative gold standard at the time last year. Many conservatives co-sponsored that plan. That plan looks a lot like what we're working on right now. You have to remember when it comes to tax credits, people who do not get health insurance from their job are discriminated against right now in the tax code. Let me say that again. The current tax code discriminates against people who don't get health care at work. We want to end the discrimination in the tax code against people who don't get health care at their work and equalize the tax treatment of health care so that everybody, regardless of whether you get health care at work or don't, has an opportunity to get a health care plan that's affordable for you. That is what we've always been working on. That's the plan we've always been looking at, and that is what we're working on with the administration. I feel at the end of the day, when we get everything done and right, we're going to be unified on this. Manu.
Are you 100% confident that there were no contacts at all between the Trump campaign and Russian officials during the presidential election?
Look, we have an ongoing investigation. I'm not going to get ahead of that investigation. We have seen no evidence so far based upon the investigations that have already been conducted. Remember, there was an intelligence community investigation last year. The House Republicans have been doing an investigation for quite a while on Russia itself through the Intelligence Committee, and we have a bipartisan investigation through the House Intelligence Committee. I think just last night they finished their oversight plan to go forward. So I'm not going to get ahead of the investigation that's occurring right now, but just so you know, this has been investigated. We've been investigating it, and we're going to continue to investigate just to make sure no stone is unturned. Casey. I never give up a dream, Casey. I never give up a dream. I'm a Green Bay Packer fan. So I never give up a dream. Entitlement, by the way, 2 entitlements are being reformed with repealing and replacing Obamacare right now. That's 2 entitlements right there that we're reforming just this spring. So we're well on our way to reforming entitlements by repealing and replacing Obamacare. So I think that's a pretty darn good start. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.